This cheat code is all about how to deal with environments that use public IP addresses for private subnets and address spaces. Let's take a look. So to demonstrate this, we'll start off in my Guardian here with this query. And what we're looking for is this subnet, 177.22.143.0/24. And just make sure that we have prove that we have no nodes in the subnet. So we'll run the query, and you can see no results. That makes sense. Now what I'm going to do is inject some traffic in on that subnet and show you what happens. And this example is important because sometimes in customers' environments, they will use or choose to use a subnet address range which falls into the public IP addressing space. I've seen it happen because people didn't know any better. I've seen it happen because it was a company decision that they felt they would never connect their system to the internet, so they could just use whatever addressing they needed. It really doesn't matter how you got there, it matters how you deal with it. So we're just injecting this traffic now, and if we rerun this query, now we can see we've got nodes that are all saying that they are public nodes, and they're all coming up in the zone internet. Now, if this was actually a subnet within a private environment within my business, this is a bit messy, and yeah, you can clean it up. You can fix this, but it's trickier. It's better to do it the right way the first time. So let's take a look at how to do it properly. So we've restored our Guardian back to its previous state before we injected the traffic from our 177.22.43 subnet. And I've rerun the query. You can see there's no results here on the Guardian. What we'll do now is we'll be smart engineers about this. We know that we have an address space that is kind of technically a public internet address. So we can take steps before we introduce the traffic to make sure that that traffic is properly categorized. And we'll do this in the CLI. And you can do it just as easily in the GUI as well, but we're not doing a GUI training course. This is a CLI training course, so we'll do it that way. So our first CLI command is to create the zone. IDS configure VI zones create the subnet address, and we're going to call it an address demo zone. We get the success message. The next command we have to do is to set this to a private address space. We do that using conf.user configure VI private underscore IPs 177.22.143.0/24. You can see that's happened true as well. Let's take a look in our zone configuration and see if our new zone's there. You can see here in zone configuration, the new zone has been created, address demo. And what we'll do now is inject some traffic into it and see what happens. So back here on my VM again, let's rerun this PCAP. I'm back in my Guardian and I'm in the queries page. Let's rerun this query and see what's happening with this traffic. So you can see here that all of our IP addresses, the IP address under the RFC is still a public IP address, but we're tagging it saying, hey, it's not public, it's a private address within our environment. And we've put it into the zone called address demo. So this is a success at this point. So the final proof that we've been successful in our little demonstration here is to look at the graph on the Guardian. And in the network graph here, you can see I've got the layout selected for grouped by zone, which is what we're seeing on screen. So you can see there's a massive internet zone, which is all the public IP addresses. And then there's this address demo zone, which should be just the addresses in the subnet we've been working with. And if we zoom in, sure enough, that's what we see.